Robert, Auckland and Rowe Cup night, the last of the autumn carnival created with change of birth date. What have you made of it so far?
Oh, it's good. I hope the weather's better than last week, of course, Cam. We had a horrible night last week, but the track's had a real good makeover this week, so we should have a really good night's racing.
You've got a few in. You start off with race 1, number 11, Isla Elsie. She's pretty good when she trots, and she loomed up last week, but manners not always there.
No, about 3 or 4 times in this campaign in Auckland she could have won each race, and she's blown apart at the wrong time. So we're hoping that change of gear slightly, change of shoeing might have just done the trick. Trotted really nicely this morning, so if she brings her A game to the races, she'll be in the money, I'm for sure, I reckon.
And race 4, number 3, Executive Banner, just probably didn't really like the wet last week.
No, Johnny just got him on the bit to keep the trail behind Simply Sam, and when that horse never got going, quick enough, he got in all sorts of trouble. And once he got keen, he couldn't relax again, and he was actually sort of bolting all the way. So we're going to put that race behind us, Cam, and hopefully he's had a nice, quiet week this week. We trained him behind the cage and never pulled him out today, and Reece said he felt super lovely and relaxed. So I think we were right this week.
Into the next, race 5 is the Trotting Derby, the first of the Group 1 features, and you've got Highgrove, the short price favourite. Last week galloped from 1. Was that just the draw, or are we just putting that behind us?
Putting it behind us. 1 could have always been a problem, and as it did turn out to be so. The track was really deep on the inside and slushy. We had to keep screening it, and it brought up a lot of water, but we had a bit of trouble. We had sort of the bends were a bit loose, so we had to do it for safety for the horses. Drivers were, obviously a bit harder to be able to see where they were going, so it was catch-22 with that, what we did last week for the track. 1 was didn't work out any good, and once he panics the horse, he's no good, so we're happy with that 5, and he has trotted good during the week. But it's very impressive, Marcelly, don't you worry about that, and Tony H has got his horse back, so it's going to be a great derby.
Speaking of which, in that derby, you're also looking after Rakero Blaze. How's she tracking towards this race?
Good. She had a problem after her first great run when she ran 4th. Got a wee bit of a problem with her, and we've got it sorted now. Pete was quite pleased the other night because he said the first lap she was too keen outside the leader, drawn a lot handier in the derby, and I think if she gets a nice run of the way, she'll go a lot better race.
Yeah, she is. She's got the 3 draw. In the next race, race 6, number 5, Yuri, he stepped up last week and he's back into a competitive grade. He should be thereabouts, shouldn't he?
Absolutely. I was wrapped with Yuri because he trotted all the way, and you'd get into trouble about 2 or 3 times with horses breaking around him and right in front of him, actually. So that part, he really ticked all the boxes. Pete said who's in front? He was going too slow anyway. And anyway, Pete said, God, he said, he came back and he just said the guy in front was just woeful, and of course, Yuri got too keen. So, look, I was just wrapped the way he performed because, a big call to put him in, yes, to get the race off the ground. But as I said to anybody that follows gallopers, you can be a 1-1 horse and start in the Melbourne Cup. So, Cole spent a lot of money on him and Nancy, and we were thrilled how he got round the race. And yes, in this race, he's got to be competitive.
So on that horse that was in front, that went too slow, race 7, the Rowe Cup, number 3, Sunday Sun. Look, what more do we have to say about this horse? He's just an absolute marvel, isn't he?
Yeah, he is really. And I was a bit worried Johnny played into Tony H's hands because Bolt's a brilliant sprinter, isn't he? And he's really got the wood on Sunday over his sprint journeys. He's proved that in the past. But to Sunny's credit, he gets them on the bend, and that's where a lot of horses can't go with him. And it's a great weapon to have in your armoury. But he's had a great week. Craig's been at the beach twice. He worked with Bernie's horses today, Bernie Michelle's, and said he was really good. And look, his blood's perfect, as is all the horses. And so, can't fault him, really.